welcome to Around Town here on the now towards the almost the end of July as we're starting toward the end of it. And I'm your host Dick Patten. It's a pleasure to welcome you here, and my guest is Police Chief Brad Osgood, and it's nice to have you back. And you're not burnt to a crisp though yet with that hot sun we had and everything else, but
yeah, no, it's been a very warm summer so far.
oh,
Other than one day in July here, where it's had a monsoon in
I
town,
know.
but
Did that storm, did you get a lot of calls during that massive storm the other day?
typically when we have storms like that, yeah, we do have power outages or power, people's alarms go off, or debris in the roadway. So yeah, we stay busy.
I mean, I heard at least 2 or 3 massive bangs. And they were big bangs. I mean, they just weren't the usual rumble, and all that. They were just, it was like the whole heavens opened up and just said, hey, this is it, But I was on the way to Manchester to pick up the wife here because she was coming in from New York via D.C. And I couldn't imagine that the plane would fly in that kind of weather, but they did. She said they just got into the airport just prior to that massive storm. But she couldn't get her luggage for 5 hours. They wouldn't unload it because the lightning was so much around that plane. So we had to go back to get it afterwards. But for you, 1st of August is coming up. I am sure it's National Night Out time.
It is.
Yeah. What date? What's the date this year?
Well, I think it's the. Is it the 6th? I'd have to look at my calendar. It's
let's see. I've got
first
my
Tuesday. I
thing
can't
here.
remember the actual date.
Yeah, I know. I think it's the first. I know it's the first Tuesday. Usually first Tuesday of August. But let's see what we got here. August. Where are you? Looks like August. Well, the 31st of July is a Tuesday, so it must be August 7th. No.
I think it's the
August.
6th.
No, the 6th. Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. Well, no, it's August 7th. If it's a Tuesday, it's August 7th.
Is it 7th?
Yeah. It's down at Rollins Park, right?
Yep, it's that first Tuesday in August. Rollins Park, 5 o'clock to 8:30.
Wow.
Shaping up well. One of the new things that's going to be there this year is the Red Sox experience. They have they bring up a replica of the Green Monster.
Oh, umbrella.
So it's they're coming up this year, and with the help of Delta Dental, we were able to get them to come up.
So, just the Green Monster, no players with it, obviously.
No.
Not even the Bat Boys.
No, but they'll get to see. You get to see a taste of Fenway Park. I think it'll attract from a lot of the younger kids that are baseball fans, and pretty neat.
Well, they had a wedding down in the Green Monster the other night.
I didn't
I
see
think it was
that.
Saturday night. They showed it on the news. The married couple. It was definitely dusk, and they are on top of the Green Monster where they have the seats there now, and it showed them taking their vows or something. But it must have been a costly little affair to do that, because Fenway Park, I'm sure, is not any cheap affair to even use part of a chair. But yeah.
All professional sports nowadays, whether or not it's baseball, hockey, basketball, or football, it's very expensive to go.
Oh yeah.
As a couple or as a family to bring.
Well, I got my tickets for Michigan, and was of course seeing Southern Methodist. And the September games are, except Notre Dame, are generally cheaper games. Because once they start conference play, you're right, it gets expensive. Now, when they're playing Wisconsin, Michigan State, Penn State, Ohio State, pew, tickets are right up there, Ohio State especially. But if they're playing Indiana, Iowa, maybe Illinois, they're probably $60 a piece or whatever. Yeah. And that's grandstand, basically, bleacher.
So how does Michigan Wolverines show up on the AP poll going into the season?
I haven't seen it yet. No. They were supposed to be ranked number in the top 10, but I don't know. But I know I cut you off there, but the Fenway Park, I haven't been to Fenway, gosh, probably in 10 years or better. It's expensive. It really is. And even Fisher Cats down there, I mean, that's AA, and that's expensive for people to go into.
Right.
You know, it's sad. I mean, I don't know what their attendance figures are, but I know when the Portland Red Sox are there, they do sell out, because usually there's somebody from that parent club there. But, you know, it's the Blue Jays, and, you know, I don't know how they do it. But you're right. You know, I mean, why did you bring something like that in, though? Because I guess I thought National Night Out was supposed to be take the crime out of the night or something. But how does that fit into the scheme of things?
Well, I think we're looking to attract people to the event. There are a ton of booths that, you know, like the crime line will be there.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have all sorts of health and safety things as well. But we also bring in, like, you know, this is the first time we've done it. We always land or try to land that Black Hawk helicopter as well. Yeah, but we also have activities for the people that attend, such as a rock climbing wall. You know, sometimes there's steel drum band. There's a strongman competition. So there's always there's an aspect of entertainment as well. But you're right. The reason why we do National Night Out is to come together as a community and promote health and safety.
I know.
And so, if you have, you know, booths or events or some degree of recreation, it may attract more people to the venue, and that's what we're hoping for.
I mean, I'm just wondering when are we going to start seeing the Ferris wheel, the merry-go-round, and all that coming in there, because it seems like it's going from what it started out to be to now this. And I mean, it's great for the South End, but it must add a lot of headaches to you guys, because now you've got traffic control down there, crowd control.
Yeah, no, I mean, the crowd control is a piece of cake, because a lot of the police officers that attend it, and some of them that are even attending are off duty, and they're with their families. But, you know, as far as the logistics of parking, if, you know, we use the middle school, and we shuttle people over. A lot of people walk over. And there's the parking down off of Pillsbury Street that we will shuttle people from there as well.
Yeah, it's a little haul to walk down there.
Yeah, because there's really not a lot of parking in and around the park.
No, there's nothing there.
But we also have animal displays. You know, they're like a petting zoo, if you will. You know, they bring in these big turtles and.
Where are you getting that from?
There's two, and I can't remember their names. I don't know if one of them is Charming Fair. And one of them and one of them is just some exotic animal exhibit. I think they're out of Merrimack or Amherst. They come up every year.
So who's paying for all this? Your budget?
No, it's entirely self-supporting. You know, we receive a lot of donations from the community. Certain businesses will donate. We also sell food as well, and it doesn't cost the city a dime.
Yeah.
And whatever money that we do make, we invest in the next year to make it even bigger. But we don't we don't make a lot of money.
So eventually, are you going to outgrow this area and maybe have to move it to Memorial Field, or what's going to happen with this?
First of all, I think that Rollins Park is an ideal location, but I also think that, having seen this grow year after year after year, it's probably going to outgrow Rollins Park.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no parking there.
Right. It could be Memorial Field. It could be Keach Park. I don't know, but there's no parking up there either.
No, I don't see that at all up there.
Yeah.
Because number one, it's become well known that that's a South End staple. And for the South End to lose that to the Heights or the Pennacook or whatever, that's not going to wash. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, it originally started at White Park.
Yeah, I remember it there.
And then it grew too big to keep at White Park, and we went down to Rollins Park. I like it, to keep it at a city park, but in Rollins Park, that time of day, that time of year, it does provide a lot of shade as well in that area that we do it in.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
Now, you lost Nevers Bay a number of years ago. Did they come back or no?
No, I don't believe they're back this year.
No, I know you lost them a few years ago.
It was a steel drum band out of Henniker or Hopkinton or something like that.
Yes, I think Hopkins is going.
Yeah. We'll have canine demonstrations. We'll have, the Concord Police, Merrimack County Sheriff's Office, New Hampshire State Police will be down there.
No, you'll have politicians running around too.
Yeah, it's that time of year, right? So.
Yeah, especially if there's a primary like I've got over there in the Heights, but I won't be down there for that. But I don't think that's the place for it. I think people get enough politics without having to run into everyone down. I mean, I was watching them at the 4th of July fireworks, where I was sitting up there in the back. We were watching them. There was some passing out stuff at the entrances, and they were just throwing them on the ground. There was a lady passing out Monterey for sheriff, and they were just throwing them on the ground. First off, number one, they even live in the area, which I doubted. Number two, they took it and they looked at it, off the ground it went. Mm-hmm. So, it's too bad, but I don't know. But, well, that's good. I mean, I know what happens, obviously, if it's raining or if it's getting that thunder showers bit, what's going to happen then? Is there a rain date, or is it just rain in it and that's it? Go as it may please, or what?
There is no rain date.
Okay.
It's and fortunately, we've had good success with the weather.
Yeah, knock on wood.
There is no rain date. If it's overcast and sprinkles a little bit, we'll still hold it. But any lightning, we'll cancel it.
After Tuesday, brother. Oh, that was sharp lightning. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that church in Bow, and then of course the house beside Bishop Brady got struck. It was quite the thing. Now, you've never had problems at the PD though with that lightning type of stuff, right? Yeah.
No.
I remember when I was dispatching in Merrimack County, we got struck once, and it was scary.
Yeah.
But so back to your event. There's no cost to get in.
No cost.
No cost, and there's no face painting. Is there free popcorn anywhere? Or?
Face painting is usually put on. They have some of the counselors from the Parks and Rec program that will do some of that for the kids. We used to have a popcorn machine that we used to do popcorn, but I think that's broken, so that won't be back. But they sell for $1. You can a hot dog is $1, a slice of pizza is $1.
That used to be free when it first started.
Yeah,
I remember that. Well, I think it's great, Chief. I just hope it just doesn't get too commercialized. That's what I fear on a lot of things, is that it started out to be a great community information night, because it is a tough time. Take back the crime. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's every day. I don't care where it is. You pick up the newspaper, watch the news, and what do you see? Domestic violence, you know, rape, you know, fights. You know, what is wrong with this world?
Right.
And
You know, I agree that, you know, you don't want to make it commercialized, and I think we still have a very good core product that we're delivering down there as far as health and safety, and but I also think it's important to draw in attractions or some degree of presentation that will actually attract more people to come, and then be exposed to that health and safety products as well.
you had there one time, I know, that some of the big city trucks in there, the kids could sit in there, ride on, not ride, but make believe and all that stuff. Is that going to happen this year?
Right. So General Services will bring down all of their big rigs, and it's really like what they call a touch-a-truck program. And
Yeah, that's
quite frankly, that's probably one of the main attractions for
Really?
kids under 10 is they like to climb up in and see what it's like to be driving in a dump truck. And you know, well, all of the police cars the same way. The kids want to go and they sit in the car. They have their photo taken. You know, same with a motorcycle. They like to sit on the motorcycle as well. And so it's a very good community interaction.
Do you have anything that you could pass out, or do you have any one area that you could talk with people about the do's and don'ts of Concord, like don't be driving on this side of the road, do this, but I mean, I don't know, but I know you must be getting complaints from people, but I mean, I'm telling you, that intersection by the PD where my sister sits, that is one dangerous intersection. I was talking with your crossing guard today, not crossing guard. He's with like Colleen there.
Parking enforcement.
Yes, Garland.
Yeah.
His name. He's very nice, and we were watching a near accident there, and I mean it was near. I mean, whoa! But you know, I said, what in the world is the matter with people? Can't they see a car right there, or are they in that much of a hurry? They got to get going and get out of there. It was amazing. Because he stood right there talking with me. I was in the car with her. She was sitting in a chair there, and I said, "Brother," the car was coming out of school, right? School, and I don't know whether it wasn't stopping or what, but the one coming down, phew, right on through.
So one of the problems that I see with that intersection is what I refer to as sight lines. When you pull up to the stop sign, and because you have parking on all sides of the streets, except for that one on Green Street, south of School Street, very difficult. You have to actually creep out into the roadway if you're stopped to actually see if anybody's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we see that as a contributing factor to, accidents and rear end accidents. But there are people that just miss the stop sign completely.
Oh yes, they do.
But we also see the fact that because there's so much, it's almost like you have to pull the parking spaces away from the intersections even more, so that when you come up to the intersection, you now have a nice field of vision, and so that's something that should be explored by engineering and the traffic ops committee.
And then of course the legislature's coming back in next week for one day, or one morning, I guess. We're supposed to be there for 10:30 for one to vote on that sales tax thing there.
Yeah. So how do they notify the state reps that they want you to come in? Is it by email?
Oh yeah. Yeah, email. Of course, it's all on the news and stuff. But yeah, email generally is how we know.
So how would they do it prior to email? Would they have to send a telegram or?
They do an email first, and they also follow up with a letter
Yeah.
that we're being called back into session, because we also will be having another call back in September, and this is on the governor's vetoes, to see if they can override his vetoes. So that's coming up. That'll be in September.
And when do you officially go back in session?
Not until January, the first Wednesday in January, we get sworn back in. Well, actually, I'll take it back. I think it is January, but we'll also be meeting in about the first week of December, somewhere there, to pick a new speaker. Depending which party has got control,
Yeah.
they'll caucus on both sides, and then we'll hear speeches from both sides or whatever, or three sides, because the Libertarians also have a party, and see who's going to be the speaker, and then we have to vote on a clerk of the court. We vote on I can see them sitting there. The sergeant at arms, we have to vote on him. Yeah, Paul Smith, the sergeant at arms, and the speaker. I think those are the three.
They get paid a lot?
Yeah, I don't know about the speaker, but I mean, I don't know about Walter's sword, but I do know that the one of them, the clerk there, gets around $90-something thousand a year.
Hmm.
So a little pretty. I think, I don't know for sure, but I think that's what his salary is. But of course, he basically is very busy there. I mean, Paul is just. I mean, like when Karen was she was the clerk there. I mean, she basically runs that session, because he tells the speaker. If the speaker says something to a representative, and if he's wrong, Paul will tell him. He'll say, "You are incorrect, sir," and then the speaker has to go back and correct it. But you know,
So how much does a state rep make, being a state rep?
we make $200 a term, 2 years, so $100 each year, and they take taxes out of that.
Right.
So we might get a check for $75 each year or something. We get no mileage in Concord. Concord reps get no mileage, but we're in there for umpteen meetings or whatever else, but that's it. People think we get a big salary because, well, gee, Massachusetts pays their reps thousands of dollars or something, or Rhode Island does, but not here. I said, no.
And do you know what the mileage rate is if you live out of town to have to
I
drive?
can't remember what it is. I used to know too, but I can't remember. I don't think it's 10 cents a mile. I think it's more than that. But I mean, if you live anywhere north of Plymouth, and especially north of Littleton, you make the Doremi. And then say like down to Hinsdale or down to Seabrook, or that area, Hampton Falls, that area. Of course, yeah, the more far away you are, the better mileage you get.
Yeah. Now, how many hours per term do you think you invest of your personal time, if you will?
A lot. Because a session day, usually the session days are, well, depending how much stuff we've got to vote on, but usually session days go for at least a good 6 to 8 hours. And that's taking a break for lunch or something. Then you have committee meetings during the week, usually on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays if we don't have a session. And those can go 2 hours to 10 hours.
Yeah. So it's safe to say that you do this for public service. As opposed to money.
Basically, Chief, it's community service.
That's what it is. Yeah.
But everybody thinks it's great. I mean, it's not like city council. City council, they were getting $1,100 a year. So
still, that's a lot of public service.
Oh yeah,
it's not a lot of money.
Well, it's better than $100 a year,
Right?
Minus taxes we get.
Well, didn't in Massachusetts the legislature in Massachusetts don't they vote to change their own salaries and stuff?
Oh yeah, we could too.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we used to be biennial. I mean, we'd come in every 2 years to enact stuff. Now it's every year. There's been talk about going back to that, but it won't. I don't see it happening. And of course, another 2 years there'll be redistricting again. So who knows what's going to happen then?
Why do they generally redistrict? It's just like demographics of the population shift?
Yeah, they want to make sure your ward is generally about the same, you know, throughout the city. It'll be a little bit tough, it will be in some areas, but, you know, generally, like I said, Concord has, well, we have 2 districts across the city on the west side that are flotarial. So you take like wards 1, 2, 3, 4. They each have their separate rep, but then they have one person that's like a floater, or maybe 2. Then you've got Ward 5 is by itself, but they're combined with Hopkinton. Oh my God, they're combined with Hopkinton. So Mary Jane, who's in Concord, and she has to campaign as well in Hopkinton, and then the Hopkinton ones have to campaign here. Then the Heights ward is by itself. Ward 8, I'm by myself. Ward 9 is, and Ward 10. But then we have a floater, Kathy Rogers. She covers 8, 9, and 10. So, you know, it's crazy. But I don't know how they can redistrict again the next time, because Ward 8 will, I mean, when I first began as a supervisor of the checklist in '79, Ward 8 covered everything from South Curtisville Road, Portsmouth Street, up to 106 and down to Manchester Street. Then it changed. They cut off the South Curtisville Road, Portsmouth Street section and made that into Ward 9, along with Havenwood and some of that. And then they shifted again and made Immaculate, Mary, and some of those streets all Ward 9. And then they shifted it and put Ward 9 back into Ward 8, that area. So it's been crazy how they do it. But it takes a while to do.
And you have to physically reside in the ward.
Oh yes. Yes. Supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I can't believe a half hour has gone already, and I felt like you interviewed me for my position for re-election. Here I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but
it's a two-way conversation.
I know.
Yeah.
But you know, if I had to be interviewed, I just gonna have you do it. I mean, I think it's.
But I can be boring after a while, and I think your listeners or your viewers would like to hear. Boring. They want to hear about.
They're not boring. They love to hear you. Yeah, but they think it, like I told you before, even during awards night, you know, just to see you out there. You know, for many years we never saw the police chief. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that Walter Carlson was wrong, but back those days, or Jason Hines, who was the deputy chief. But to see you out there, we know we have a police chief. Not just a figurehead who calls himself a chief. We actually have a police chief who's out there making a difference. And that counts a lot for people.
Oh, thank you.
And I told you that. You know, I mean, you have the very highest respect I could give anybody. You do. From me to you, because I just think it's wonderful that you come on here, because there's always something like this one here about National Night Out, you know. So I'm sure Ian's having a fit saying, shut up, get going. But anyway, so with that in mind, don't forget Tuesday, August 7th at Rollins Park, down in the South End off Broadway. National Night Out. I'm not sure how many years that is now. It must be 30 odd years or whatever. But Concord Police Department with all kinds of goodies from 5:30 to 8:30 or 5 to 8:30.
5 to 8:30.
5 to 8:30. So come down there and enjoy everything that's going on. The police department has worked very hard to give you a great evening of education, recreation, and some fun. So with that in mind, thanks to Ian Marx, my director, and thanks to Chief Osgood for coming in, and we'll look forward to seeing you all soon down at Rollins Park on August the 7th. I'm your host, Patten.